Hello, Assalamu alaikum, and welcome to Reimagine Halal in Asia Conference 2020. It's a joint initiative of CollabDeen and HHWT. Reimagine Halal in Asia 2020 focuses on what 2021 and beyond may look like for this economy. Right. So today we have with us Mr. Abdur Rahim Nabi. He is the senior advisor to Assistant Director General for Finance, Commercials, Customer Relations and Innovation at DAFZA, Dubai Airport Free Zone Authority. So today we'll be discussing about international opportunities from his perspective towards the focus in the Asia's market. So without further ado, please join me in welcoming Mr. Abdur Rahim. Assalamu alaikum.
Hi, good morning. Walaikum salam, Brother Fateh. How are you? Thank you for having me today with yourselves. It's a pleasure and an honor for me to be here.
And likewise, we are honored to have you today. So I'm sure there's a lot of important values to be added on to this session where we are looking to really explore what's happening from your perspective towards the Asia. And there's going to be a lot of learning for all the audience here.
Inshallah. Indeed, it was a very, very enriching visit we had to the Malaysia, Thailand, and Indonesia. And hopefully we plan to cover a larger belt once the pandemic is a bit better. But yes, the power of the the Asian region in principle is extremely humongous. And from our side, we are here ready to support all of you in any way possible.
Thank you so much. So going ahead into this, I happen to just got to know through your LinkedIn profile, you've been with DAFZA for almost 18 years, 6 months. If you can just quickly walk through your journey and what you've been doing with DAFZA.
Yeah, so thank you. And, DAFZA, so basically, since you asked me about the background, I was born and brought up in Dubai, been here all my life. My family moved here in 1973. So, I joined DAFZA in 2002. And yes, it has been almost 19 years in this organization. It's a fabulous place to work. As far as my role is concerned at DAFZA, I am primarily I'm a finance, accounting, investment, banking sort of a professional. But over the last many years, I've moved into an advisory role, focusing on a lot of different verticals for DAFZA, including technical financial advisory, commercial operations, which include sales and marketing, innovation, future, niche, strategies such as that of the Islamic economy. And many things in that regard. So I advise the upper layer of the organization, in particular the deputy CEO of the company, on an assortment of matters that sort of I would say strategically are quite important. And one of them obviously is the Islamic economy and halal trade in particular, and that's why I'm here with you today.
Amazing. I think this is a beautiful journey you had. I think a lot of people, youth like us, would always envision to see how these kind of journeys from starting your career at very bottom and you've grown up the ladder to the top. Really beautiful to hear and see that journey. I would definitely love to hear more on that. So what do you have to share today with the audience? Like if you have a presentation, we can get started on with that.
Sure, Brother Fateh. And I have a presentation particularly focusing on the opportunities for the Asian market in terms of specifically halal. And I'll be running through a presentation with you guys, and after that, hopefully, I hope that you guys will find this presentation enriching. So let me just jump onto the presentation if everything looks good.
Sounds good. Let's go ahead. While you share the presentation, I'm also quite interested to hear when you get started on what's happening from a perspective where COVID has really disrupted a lot of things. Probably if you can bring in those elements to your presentations would be great as well.
Sure. And, maybe at the onset, yes, COVID has been difficult for us a little bit. I think it's been challenging times, but I truly believe that it has helped global economies as well as organizations and institutions to sort of reinvent themselves, look at all different possibilities. In terms of the pandemic, I think global populations at large have, and global cities, I would say, have a very good feel about how to handle the situation now. It's a matter of check and balance for many countries. And I think there is also a lot of individual responsibility on ourselves. Like the slogan that we have in the UAE is that, we are all responsible. and we all need to be responsible to make sure, that we're taking care of this. Having said that, life has to go on, and we need to, work through this pandemic. And we're very hopeful that, inshallah, sooner than later, the vaccines will be out and things will be back to normal. But in the interim, yes, the drive and the push and the energy has to be there from everyone to sort of collaborate, work together, and move forward. Having said that, let me just go into the presentation straight off. So, maybe a little bit of a background again for the audience. As I mentioned before, I would like to express my sincere thanks to CollabDeen and Halal Will Travel. My deepest gratitude for them to, organize this very relevant, I would say, and enriching conference. It's an honor to be here with all of you today, sharing some relevant insights, thoughts about the future of the halal market, and how, in principle, I think Dubai could be a gateway, a global gateway for the halal certified companies in Asia. So when we look at the, halal market in Asia, for us, Asia would comprise of the North and Southeast Asia regions in this case. And, they have extremely competitive producing halal goods. There are many business opportunities for them in the global halal markets, but especially, I would say, in the MENA region countries, where we are importing the majority of the goods that we are actually consuming. I think, again, the North and South Asia regions and the MENA region countries, such as those of Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Kuwait, Oman, Egypt, Morocco, Algeria, and others, are highly complementary in nature. The Asian regions have quite clearly strong manufacturing and producing capabilities and selling all kinds of halal goods. And the MENA region countries, as I mentioned, are net importers in terms of halal goods. And the same applies for the OIC, or the Muslim majority countries. The opportunity is quite clear. The Asian companies should play an increasing and important role in supplying these halal consumer goods to the MENA region, and taking advantage, obviously, of some key factors such as the quality, competitive prices, and the halal insurance systems that you guys have. Nonetheless, and having said this, the halal certified products commercial exchange among these regions, I mean to say your region and our region, is far, I think, from its potential, and there are still many untapped business opportunities. Even when each year more and more Asian companies from both regions are trying to capitalize on this niche. In this framework, and due to, I think, the close ties that the Asian countries in principle enjoy, with our region, the geographical proximity with some of them, the trade agreements signed with many of them, I would say, and the UAE in general, and Dubai in particular, could play a vital role as a re-export hub in the galvanization of this huge market. The UAE, as you're aware, has the state-of-the-art logistics facilities and world-class business incentives, facilities, such as is the case even offered by DAFZA. It's the premier first-class free zone for re-exporting goods specifically across the MENA region, where many countries, again, as we mentioned, we are net importers, and at the same time, we have increasing population. So why halal is important for Dubai and the UAE? So the halal emphasis for the United, I would say, with the vision of His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, when he set an amazing forward-looking vision for Dubai to become the capital of the Islamic economy. There's the commitment and the inspiration for stakeholders such as DAFZA to be able to contribute in achieving overview of the broader or the global Islamic halal economy opportunity. Talk a little bit about Dubai and its competitive strengths, specifically look at global diverse case studies out of Dubai that have demonstrated success. And I would also, done some research and talk about some Asian, success cases, Asian country success cases as well, which are amazing, for the audience to actually learn from and be inspired from. Finally, I will also deep dive a little bit more into why and how Dubai lies at the intersection of key trade flows when it comes to the halal economy. So I work with Dubai Airport Free Zone Authority. DAFZA was established in 1996 as a part of the Dubai government's strategy to become an investment-driven economy. We have more than 1,700 companies working in our special economic zone today from 20 different sectors and 15,000 people contributing as employees to those companies. Collectively, our free zones, special economic zones, contribution to trade exceeded AED 164 billion dirham in 2019, which is approximately US dollars 45 billion, and that's a very sizable figure in terms of contribution to foreign trade. So DAFZA is a special economic zone. It's like a one-stop shop for international investors, providing them with licenses, visas, workspaces, and a host of benefits and incentives for them to be able to spur their businesses out of Dubai. Islamic economy and focus on the Islamic economy is one of our key global differentiators. Going into having an overview of the global or the halal Islamic opportunity, I think to set the context right, many of you would be aware of this, but again, I think the definition sets the base for everything. The halal or the Islamic economy represents sectors whose core products and services are fundamentally or structurally, I would say, affected by Islamic values. Driven consumer lifestyle, in the case of food, it's halal food. In the case of finance, it has to be Sharia compliant. And in the case of fashion, it has to be modest. If you look at the slide on your screen right now, we have 6 core industry sectors, excluding Islamic finance, basically focusing on the product related sectors. Collectively, these sectors contribute approximately $2.2 trillion in Muslim spending, and with a CAGR of 12% in the same sectors. From a growth perspective, the story is quite strong, with the CAGR of 6.2%. And not only does this, even though, as Brother Fatih mentioned, this does not reflect the impact of the pandemic, but given our analysis and understanding post-2021, we do see the market coming back to levels in line with the trends that are highlighted here. Even when we have the 57 Muslim majority countries worldwide, it's quite clear that the Asian countries from this slide, you can see whether they're from the Middle East and Southeast Asia regions, are leading in terms of the Islamic economy. Among the different sectors that make up the Islamic economy, whether it's food, pharma, cosmetics, there are many Asian countries capitalizing on this fast-growing market opportunity. Good proof of this is the Global Islamic Economy Indicator, which is a composite weighted index that measures the overall development of the Islamic economy sectors by assessing the performance of its parts. This information is according to the previous SGIE report edition, the one that you see on your slide. And Asian countries such as Malaysia or Indonesia, or UAE or Bahrain from the Middle East are among the top 10 countries in the most relevant Islamic economy sectors. For example, the United Arab Emirates in this stats is leading sectors such as modest fashion, media or recreation, and Malaysia is leading halal sectors such as Islamic finance or halal tourism. It clearly shows, in essence, wanted to show you that there are a lot of countries who understand the value of the halal economy or the Islamic economy, and they're competing in different verticals to be able to take a higher position in terms of how they're driving their economies to sort of capitalize again on this opportunity. I would say the potential for future major collaboration and integration among these countries in this space could even further spur and boost economic activity. Coming back to a bit about Dubai, within a 2-hour flight radius from Dubai, we have access to $578 billion worth of consumer spending. Okay. And this is a core and an anchor as to why Dubai plays a major role when it comes to halal trade. So this number is not small, $578 billion. And if you go beyond the 2-hour flight radius from Dubai, there is a larger OIC opportunity in terms of imports, which is $296 billion. The slide and the information will be readily available for all of you through our partners. So, you can mull through this information as once you have access to it. With His Highness's vision, the Islamic economy was established, I would say, as another pillar of the government strategy. And I would like to briefly talk about the Dubai Islamic Economy Development Center, which was given birth at that time and has the mandate of creating or making the vision of His Highness into a reality. DIEDC, basically, in terms of the strategy, they have 3 pillars: Islamic finance, halal industry, and Islamic lifestyle. And, these are supported by, horizontal infrastructure support pillars of Islamic knowledge, Islamic standards, and Islamic digital economy as well. We are very proud to be associated with the Dubai Islamic Economy Development Center. They have been doing an amazing, job in terms of, activating this vision, and stakeholders such as DAFZA play our part in their strategy to activate the different initiatives. A little bit more about the relevance of the slide that you see. Dubai has a very vibrant ecosystem, okay, of stakeholders who contribute to this vision of His Highness. And these stakeholders are engaged in supporting the Islamic economy, where DAFZA is one of them. I won't go through all of the initiatives that you see on your screen, but I would like to talk about a few of them, which I feel are quite important. One is the State of the Global Islamic Economy Report, which has been launched, a couple of days back, and is being prepared for global launches all across the world, including Singapore, through CollabDeen and Halal will travel. It's become a global reference point for the global industry, and everybody uses this as a base for everything that they aspire to do. And similarly, for example, we have the myself and Brother Fateh, when we met last year, we met at the Global Islamic Economy Summit. This is poised to happen again at the end of this year in line with Dubai Expo. And we invite everybody in the audience to participate in this, because not only can you benefit from what's happening at the Expo, but you will also benefit from this global summit, which brings across veterans and experts in the Islamic economy space from all over the world. Then we also have Salam Gateway, for example, which is the industry and news insights channel, and that's the reference point as to where the industry goes. Beyond this, also the United Arab Emirates halal compliance ecosystem is quite well established, and we have a robust process and accreditation bodies and standardization bodies who are also doing a very good job in terms of supporting the export as well as the import requirements. Now I'll just go into the case studies. I think they're very interesting and always important for the audience to understand the success that has been demonstrated by different companies who have decided to expand and globalize their operations. So first we have the case of Fonterra. This is a company from New Zealand. It's in the food industry player and the dairy ingredient business in particular. They are a global entity that has, they export tremendous amounts to the MENA region and the OIC countries. They are leveraging halal not only from a pure compliance point of view, but also as a growth driver for them. Then we have the case of Abbott Laboratories. It's a pharmaceutical company, more than 94,000 people working over there, and they have also capitalized on the halal ecosystem for the region. We have the case of Hershey's. By the way, all these companies are based out of DAFZA, the Airport Free Zone, the one that I'm showing you. It's a very well-known brand with halal compliance from all over the world. Again, something that has been able to drive growth and success for them. So these companies not only, see these the halal ecosystem from the pure export opportunity or compliance perspective, but they also look at it as a very huge export opportunity for them. Interestingly, as I was looking through, the Asian countries also have very strong companies producing in different categories, whether it be food, pharma, cosmetics, or e-commerce, I would say. For example, when you look at the CP Group, the Thai-based conglomerate from Bangkok, they have 8 business lines covering 13 business groups, and many of their foods are halal certified. Currently, the group has investments in 21 countries and presence in more than 50. The Wagyu Beef Association from Japan is another one. They are the largest producers and sellers of Wagyu beef in Japan. They're very interested in certifying their associates. We've met with them in the past quite a couple of times in the presence of the Council General of Japan. And they have been organizing many events and shows in Dubai to sort of push their meat and beef products, for example, in Dubai and the UAE and other parts of the MENA region as well. Calbe, again from Indonesia, the pharmaceutical, healthcare, and nutrition company, established in 1996. They also have an extensive portfolio, pharmaceutical, OTC drugs, and they've established their footprint in Asian countries, Nigeria, and South Africa. So why am I talking about these? Is for you and me both to learn the potential and the different sort of areas and countries these Asian companies have actually transgressed into. And these guys, for example, they market halal certified pharma products. The Global Halal Hub, I'm sure quite a lot of you have come across this. It's a chain of halal convenience stores and supermarkets in Singapore. Even though I believe that they're quite a young player, but they have expanded quite rapidly, opened 45 outlets, and 12 of their outlets are 100% halal in terms of what they provide. So they're also working very hard to bring their products from many parts of the world, including Indonesia, Malaysia, Korea, offering a wide selection of unique halal products in its stores. The success cases are so many, but yes, again, then J&N Halal, the halal certified brand of Korean cosmetics company, is another case. They are the first one to get halal certified cosmetic products, for example, and they're again selling their products not only in Southeast Asia but also in the Middle East. And again, there are many other companies which are appearing on your slide, the likes of Cosmoderm, Geopharma, Tokopedia, Noor Sport, the hijab company, Zalore from Singapore, and I would say beyond what the slide covers, also many other names from the Asian subcontinent. Also, for example, Fauji Foods from Pakistan or the Alana Group from India. It's quite clear that these people are leaders, and that Asia is a powerhouse when it comes to global halal players. So if you recall, I did talk a bit about the 2-hour flight radius and the $296 billion opportunity which existed, for when you're based out of Dubai. But beyond that, also, the Muslim population is growing substantially, and not only that, even the power of global spending is increasing rapidly. When we look at the different sectors, food, pharma, cosmetics, obviously we don't have time to mull into all of them. However, I would like to sort of demonstrate in this slide, the case when it comes to halal food and trade dependency, and how this becomes an opportunity for the Asian companies. So when we, if you just look at food, for example, right, and this represents a huge opportunity where $202 billion of food was imported, into the OIC countries. And we can also see, that you can see the different source markets on the left-hand side, the exporting countries, and on the map you can see the importing countries. And when you look at the United Arab Emirates, we imported $16.6 billion in terms of, the food category. Now, having said that, our total population is around 10 million people. So it's, we obviously, or majority of these goods that are coming in are getting re-exported to different markets, right? And hence the opportunity. So you have economies such as Brazil, USA, India being the largest exporters, and then UAE in the top 3 in terms of, imports. Again, it's happening because international companies use, Dubai as a base, as a hub, because that's what we do. We are a re-export hub, and we help with our seamless, infrastructure, customs, logistics to sort of help facilitate that trade to the next level, which becomes quite easy and seamless for everybody, as well as cost effective. So I hope that you have enjoyed this brief presentation.
Brilliant, mashallah. It's a beautiful presentation, as well as a lot of insights, inputs that's going through this. I think I'll have to go through the recorded sessions to digest more information. Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing all this insight. We have about 4 minutes more. There are a couple of questions that's coming in, which I would like to ask. How do you observe Asia halal products nowadays and in the future? What is your perception on Asia halal products?
Well, I think, I think it's a very good question, but Fateh, I think Asian halal products have made remarkable progress in the last couple of years. And in the olden days, I would say sometimes, they were seen as basic commodities or raw materials for final consumption, or producing other consumer goods, I would say. But fortunately, and I think after great efforts from the companies and the institutions and professionals as yourselves, they're reaching top quality standards and becoming more sophisticated in terms of adopting to new tastes, trends, preferences across the world. As a result, the halal certified products, I think, are becoming more popular, and the demand is growing worldwide in general, but specifically in the Muslim majority countries, as they are halal certified. Additionally, and I think related to the point, Asian halal certified products are also perceived as, I would say, safe products, as the legal halal frameworks, in some of the Asian countries, I think in majority of them, the halal assurance system that you guys have, for example, in Malaysia, you have JAKIM, or you have the MUIS in Indonesia, MUIS in Singapore, SICOT in Thailand, are among the best worldwide in terms of certifying halal products. This sort of standards and qualities in principle, they are very hard to replicate, and, they exist with you guys. It's embedded into your economy. So I'm personally quite optimistic about the future of the halal Asian product. I'm positive that we will be able to find them anywhere and everywhere around the world, and they will become global brands and reference points for consumers.
Excellent. I think that gives a lot of insights about where this market is heading. One last question we'll take up, and probably if you can also summarize with that. The question is, how's the role of DAFZA able to assist all businesses, regardless of maximizing the halal industry or expanding the halal market, take a piece of halal economy, right?
So I think it's again, focus on the Islamic economy, as I mentioned, and halal trade in particular is one of the key global differentiators for DAFZA. DAFZA has its own dedicated niche Islamic economy strategy. And for this reason, we have launched two major initiatives. One is the Halal Guidebook, which is a step-by-step guide, which is shared with the investors to give them a full idea about the halal ecosystem, the compliance, the assurance, all the stakeholders that exist, and the Halal Trade and Marketing Center. Halal Trade and Marketing Center was co-founded by DIEDC. It's a business enablement center. It's meant for the global economy to bridge the gaps for the industry players. It gives market intelligence support, growth support, services support, a distributorship support. It's actually curated and managed through a network of 27 service partners that come together to bridge the gaps of the industry. So having said that, DAFZA is not a halal-free zone. It's not like the Halmas in Malaysia, but we are also offering halal certified companies the state-of-the-art infrastructure and also fiscal incentives to set up their businesses in Dubai and through the UAE, and as well as give them the connectivity. So we're here there to support them and guide them to become successful. With this, if you also like me to summarize, I think I think in terms of some challenges I would like to highlight for the Asian companies very briefly. I think there are three, in terms of size, expertise, and volume. So most of the Asian companies producing halal goods are SMEs. So we must support them to bigger so that they can gain the muscle, to explore business opportunities beyond East Asia and Southeast Asia region. Expertise, I think, again, as many of the firms are SMEs, they don't have the track record and the knowledge. So we need to support them with market intelligence, information, trade connectivity. And in terms of volumes, again, there is a challenge. What happens is that many of these companies are producing and satisfying their local demand. Their production capacities are limited, so they're focusing on their region, even though their products have this huge potential to sort of, capture these international opportunities. So I think supporting the industry, specifically the SMEs, and I've seen this happen in Asia over the last many years, and even last year I've seen a lot of initiatives, and I think that's the right way to go forward, because these SMEs can become unicorns for global success.
Excellent. I think that makes up a good summary of the whole session. And thank you so much for coming in once again and sharing these inputs and insights. I would like to remind all the audience, reimaginehalal.com is where you can get all the recordings of these sessions even in the future, as well as on the CollabDeen app, deen.app/reimaginehalal. I will give you a lot of more insights. Presentations would be shared. A lot of communications and collaborations could happen there. With that, thank you so much once again, Brother Abdur Rahim from DAFZA, and inshallah we'll catch up again soon.
Thank you for having us, Brother Fatih. Wishing you guys all the best.
Thank you. Bye.